Have you ever shared something important, maybe a dream, a blessing, or a personal struggle, only to feel misunderstood, discouraged, or even betrayed? Have you ever noticed that the moment you reveal certain plans, opposition, and distractions suddenly arise? Could it be that some things are meant to be kept between you and God until the right time? Think about it. Has premature sharing ever affected your relationships, caused unnecessary setbacks, or left you feeling vulnerable? Why does the Bible emphasize wisdom in speech and discretion in action? What is the secret to guarding the treasures God places in your heart without fear or hesitation? In this story, we will explore 6 powerful principles that God's chosen ones should never share with just anyone. So if you're ready to unlock this spiritual wisdom, stick with us. And don't forget, if you love deep biblical insights and spiritual wisdom, be sure to like and subscribe to Sermons of C.S. Lewis. His words continue to inspire and challenge believers to walk boldly in their faith. Divine instructions meant for you alone. There are moments in life when God speaks to you directly, through a dream, a vision, or a deep conviction in your heart. These divine instructions are sacred, meant for you and your journey. But have you ever shared something deeply personal, only to be met with doubt, jealousy, or even opposition? Joseph, a young man with a great destiny, experienced this firsthand. God gave him dreams of greatness, revealing that he would one day rise above his brothers. Excited and perhaps unaware of the weight of his revelation, he shared his dreams with them. Instead of celebrating with him, they despised him, plotted against him, and ultimately sold him into slavery. Genesis 37, verse 5-11. This raises an important question. Could Joseph's suffering have been avoided if he had kept his dreams to himself? People naturally crave recognition, encouragement, and validation. We want others to see the greatness within us and celebrate what God is doing in our lives. But the truth is, not everyone is ready to hear what God has spoken to you. Some will misunderstand, others may envy, and some might even work against you. Many have found this principle to be life-changing. Learning when to speak and when to stay silent has protected them from unnecessary battles and heartache. It has allowed them to walk in peace, trusting God rather than seeking human approval. This mindset is crucial because it teaches you wisdom. It helps you discern who is truly for you and who might not have your best interests at heart. It also builds your faith in God's process, teaching you to rely on His timing rather than rushing to share everything. Knowing this principle is one thing, but applying it is another. It's important to practice self-control and spiritual discernment. Before sharing something important, ask yourself, is this the right time? Is this the right person? Will this glorify God or bring unnecessary resistance? When people act the wrong way, dismissing your calling, belittling your dreams, or even opposing your growth, don't be discouraged. Instead, see it as confirmation that God's plans for you are significant. Keep your focus on the one who gave you the vision. Remember, Joseph's brothers couldn't stop God's plan. Their betrayal only positioned him for his destiny. This principle will also help you appreciate others. Just as you want your personal revelations to be handled with care, learn to respect and support the dreams and callings of others. Be the kind of person who listens with wisdom, encourages with sincerity, and protects what is sacred. So what should you do when you receive a divine instruction? Pray about it. Meditate on it. Ask God for wisdom on when and how to act. And most importantly, let your actions speak louder than your words. Joseph's story had both a negative and a positive side. On the negative side, his premature sharing led to jealousy, betrayal, and hardship. But on the positive side, God's plan was still fulfilled. He rose to power, saved his family, and his dreams came true despite the challenges. Imagine if he had kept quiet and trusted God's timing. Could his journey have been less painful? Could yours? God has a unique plan for you. Protect it. Guard it. Trust Him. If you found this insight valuable, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next principle. It might be the very key you need for your breakthrough. Nard 2. Your deepest struggles with just anyone. Everyone goes through seasons of struggle, moments of doubt, fear, and hardship. There are times when life feels overwhelming, and we long for someone to confide in, someone who will understand. But have you ever shared your deepest struggles with the wrong person, only to feel judged, betrayed, or used? Have you ever opened up about your pain, only for it to be twisted against you? Samson, a man chosen by God with extraordinary strength, had a weakness. He longed for love, companionship, and trust. In his desire to be known, he shared the secret of his strength with Delilah. She, however, was not a safe place. Instead of protecting his vulnerability, she exploited it, leading to his downfall. Judges 16, verse 15 to 21. This raises a crucial question. Could Samson have kept his strength if he had guarded his struggles better? People naturally crave connection, support, and someone who will truly listen to them. We all want to be understood, accepted, and encouraged. But the hard truth is, not everyone is capable of handling the weight of your struggles. Some will judge, others will gossip, and a few may even rejoice in your pain. Many have found this principle to be life-changing. Learning to be selective with who you confide in has saved them from unnecessary heartbreak, betrayal, and spiritual setbacks. It has allowed them to heal in private and seek wisdom from the right people, rather than exposing their wounds to the wrong crowd. This mindset is crucial because it teaches discernment. It helps you recognize the difference between those who genuinely care and those who are simply curious. It also strengthens your relationship with God, teaching you to turn to Him first, instead of seeking human validation. Knowing this principle is one thing, but living it out requires discipline. Before sharing your struggles, ask yourself, is this person trustworthy? Do they have the wisdom to guide me? Will they pray for me or use my words against me? When people act the wrong way, mocking your pain, spreading your secrets, or dismissing your struggles, don't let bitterness take root. Instead, see it as a lesson in wisdom. Keep your heart guarded and learn to find strength in God's presence. Even Jesus withdrew to lonely places to pray, showing us that some battles are meant to be fought in private. Luke 5:16. This principle will also help you appreciate those who truly care. When you find people who listen with love, give wise counsel, and pray for you, rather than talk about you, treasure them. True friends are rare, and spiritual mentors are priceless. So, what should you do when you're struggling? First, take it to God in prayer. Seek His comfort before looking for human support. Then, choose wisely. Find a mature, godly person who can handle your struggles with grace and wisdom. And when you don't know who to trust, remember that some seasons are meant for quiet healing, not public confession. Samson's story had both a negative and a positive side. On the negative side, his vulnerability was betrayed, leading to his capture and suffering. But on the positive side, even in his weakest moment, he turned back to God and his strength was restored. This shows that even if you have trusted the wrong person before, God can redeem and strengthen you again. C.S. Lewis once said, "Friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, 'What, you too? I thought I was the only one.'" This reminds us that while confiding in others can be powerful, true friendships are built on trust and wisdom, not just shared pain. God has given you strength, even in your struggles. Protect it. Seek the right counsel. Trust Him. If you found this insight valuable, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next principle. It might be the very key you need for your breakthrough. 3. Every blessing before it manifests. Have you ever been excited about a breakthrough that was on the way? An opportunity, a new job, a relationship, a financial breakthrough, only to share it too soon and suddenly face unexpected resistance? Have you ever wondered why some blessings seem delayed or even blocked after you tell others about them? Could it be that some things are meant to remain hidden until God fully establishes them? In the book of Genesis, we see a powerful lesson in the story of King Hezekiah. After experiencing a miraculous healing from God, he welcomed Babylonian envoys into his palace and proudly showed them all his treasures, his silver, gold, spices, and everything in his kingdom. What he didn't realize was that these visitors had no good intentions. They took note of everything, and later, Babylon came and plundered Judah, taking those very treasures into captivity. 2 Kings 20:12-18. This raises a thought-provoking question. Could Hezekiah have protected his kingdom if he had been more discreet? People naturally desire celebration, validation, and recognition. When something good happens, we want to share it with others, to receive encouragement, to inspire, and to feel connected. But the truth is, not everyone is happy for you. Some will envy, some will doubt, and some might even try to interfere with what God is doing. Many have found this principle to be life-changing. Learning to wait before announcing their blessings has spared them from unnecessary setbacks, jealousy, and spiritual opposition. It has allowed them to move forward in faith, trusting that when the time is right, their blessings will be revealed in a way that no one can hinder. This mindset is crucial because it teaches patience and discernment. It helps you recognize that some things need to be nurtured in private before they can be celebrated in public. It reminds you that God's timing is perfect and that revealing a blessing prematurely can expose it to attacks that could have been avoided. Knowing this principle is important, but applying it requires discipline. Before announcing something, ask yourself, has this fully manifested? Am I sharing this out of excitement, or is it necessary? Is this moment about glorifying God, or do I just want validation? When people act the wrong way, mocking your progress, discouraging you, or even trying to sabotage what God is doing, don't get distracted. Instead, see it as confirmation that your blessing is valuable. Keep it between you and God until the appointed time. This principle will also help you appreciate others. When you see someone moving in silence, rather than feeling left out or suspicious, respect their wisdom. Support them in prayer, and rejoice with them when their blessing is fully revealed. So, what should you do when a blessing is unfolding in your life? Keep it in prayer. Seek wisdom before sharing. Allow it to take root and become strong before exposing it to unnecessary attention. And when the time comes, testify in a way that glorifies God, not just the blessing itself. Hezekiah's story had both a negative and a positive side. On the negative side, his premature sharing led to the eventual downfall of his kingdom. But on the positive side, his story teaches us a valuable lesson. Wisdom and timing can protect what God has entrusted to us. C.S. Lewis once said, "Integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching." In the same way, faith is believing in the blessing, even when no one else knows about it. Trust that what God is building in your life doesn't need an audience to succeed. It just needs His approval. God's blessings in your life are sacred. Guard them, nurture them, let them unfold in His perfect timing. If this insight has spoken to you, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next principle. It might be the very key you need for your breakthrough. Secrets of others entrusted to you. Have you ever confided in someone, only to later find out that your private words were shared with others? Have you ever entrusted someone with something sensitive, only to feel the sting of betrayal? What if the way we handle other people's secrets determines whether God can trust us with greater things? In the book of Judges, we find the story of Samson and Delilah. Samson had a divine calling, and his strength was tied to a sacred secret, his uncut hair. But Delilah, motivated by greed, repeatedly pressured him to reveal his secret. At first he resisted, but over time he let down his guard and told her the truth. Instead of protecting him, Delilah used his trust against him, leading to his capture and downfall. Judges 16, verse 4-21. This raises an important question. Have you been a Delilah in someone else's life? Have you ever taken what was shared in confidence and used it for your own gain, or shared it without permission? People long for safety, trust, and relationships where they can be vulnerable without fear. They want to know that their struggles, fears, and personal battles are safe with those they confide in. Yet, not everyone honors this trust. Gossip, betrayal, and carelessness have damaged friendships, broken families, and even destroyed ministries. Many have discovered that embracing this principle, keeping the secrets of others, has strengthened their relationships and deepened their integrity. They have become a source of peace and trust for those around them. And in return, they have found that God entrusts them with more wisdom, responsibility, and even divine revelation. This mindset is crucial because it teaches integrity. It shows that you are trustworthy and can be relied upon. It protects relationships from unnecessary conflict and ensures that those around you feel safe to share their burdens without fear. Knowing this principle is not enough. You must practice it daily. Before sharing something about someone else, ask yourself, is this my story to tell? Will this help or harm the person? Am I speaking to bring healing, or am I spreading gossip? When people act the wrong way, spreading rumors, breaking trust, or using personal information as a weapon, don't stoop to their level. Instead, be an example of honor. Refuse to participate in gossip, correct misinformation where you can, and commit to being a person who protects, not exposes. This principle will also help you appreciate those who keep your secrets safe. When you find people who listen, pray, and protect what you share, cherish them. They are rare. And be that person for others, a trustworthy friend, a safe place, a person of honor. So what should you do when someone entrusts you with their secrets? Guard them as if they were your own. If they need wisdom, guide them in truth. If they need prayer, intercede on their behalf. But never use their vulnerability as a source of entertainment or a means to elevate yourself. Samson's story had both a negative and a positive side. On the negative side, his misplaced trust led to his greatest downfall. But on the positive side, even in his weakness, God restored his strength, showing that redemption is always possible. C.S. Lewis once said, "To be trusted is a greater compliment than being loved." When people trust you with their secrets, they are giving you something precious. Treat it with the care and respect it deserves. God honors those who honor others. Be a person of integrity. Guard what is sacred. Protect the trust placed in you. If this insight has spoken to you, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next principle. It might be the very key you need for your breakthrough. 5. Your plans before they are fulfilled. Have you ever shared your plans with others, only to find that obstacles suddenly arise? Have you ever felt excited about a vision God gave you, only to face unexpected discouragement the moment you spoke about it? Could it be that some things are meant to be worked on in silence before they are revealed? In the book of Nehemiah, we find a powerful lesson about discretion. Nehemiah had a God-given mission to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, but he didn't announce his plans to everyone right away. Instead, he inspected the walls at night, keeping his intentions hidden until the time was right. Only when his preparations were complete did he reveal his mission, ensuring that no one could sabotage it before it had a solid foundation. Nehemiah 2:11-12-16. This raises an important question. Could Nehemiah's success have been compromised if he had spoken too soon? People naturally desire encouragement, approval, and support. When we have a new idea, a dream, or a goal, we want to share it with others, hoping for validation. But the reality is, not everyone will celebrate your vision. Some may doubt you, some may discourage you, and others may even try to stop you out of jealousy or fear. Many have found that keeping their plans private until they are solidified has saved them from unnecessary opposition and distractions. It has allowed them to focus on what God has placed in their hearts without interference from those who do not understand or believe in their calling. This mindset is crucial because it teaches patience and wisdom. It reminds you that some things need time to grow before they can be exposed to the opinions of others. It strengthens your ability to trust God rather than seeking approval from people. Knowing this principle is one thing, but applying it requires self-control. Before sharing your plans, ask yourself, is this the right time? Do I need approval, or do I need action? Will sharing this now add value, or will it invite unnecessary opposition? When people act the wrong way, mocking your vision, doubting your abilities, or even trying to sabotage your progress, don't waste time trying to convince them. Instead, follow Nehemiah's example. Keep building. Let your results speak for themselves. Let your success be the proof that your vision was from God. This principle will also help you appreciate others. When you see someone working quietly toward something, respect their process. Instead of demanding details, pray for their success. Instead of doubting, encourage them. So, what should you do when God gives you a plan? Move in silence. Pray for wisdom. Work diligently in private. And when the time is right, let the world see what God has built through you. Nehemiah's story had both a negative and a positive side. On the negative side, he faced opposition from those who wanted to stop the work. But on the positive side, because he moved wisely, his enemies could not stop what God had already set in motion. The wall was completed, and the mission was fulfilled. C.S Lewis once said, "Courage, dear heart." This reminds us that sometimes the greatest acts of faith happen in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when it's just you and God. God has given you a vision. Protect it. Work on it. Trust Him to bring it to completion. If this insight has spoken to you, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next principle. It might be the very key you need for your breakthrough. 6. Every spiritual experience you encounter. Have you ever had a powerful encounter with God, a vision, a dream, or a divine revelation that left you in awe? Have you ever shared a deep spiritual experience with someone, only for them to dismiss it, question it, or even mock it? Could it be that some encounters with God are meant to be treasured in your heart, rather than discussed with everyone? In the Gospel of Luke, we see a remarkable example in Mary, the mother of Jesus. When the angel Gabriel appeared to her, announcing that she would give birth to the Son of God, it was a moment of divine revelation. Later, when the shepherds came to worship the newborn Jesus, Mary did not rush to explain everything or seek approval from others. Instead, she treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Luke 2:19. She understood that some divine encounters are meant to be meditated upon, not immediately shared. This raises a thought-provoking question. How many spiritual moments have lost their power because they were shared too soon or with the wrong people? People naturally crave affirmation, understanding, and connection. When we experience something deeply spiritual, we often want to share it, hoping for encouragement, validation, or even guidance. But not everyone will understand. Some may question your experience, some may discredit it, and others may even discourage you from pursuing what God has revealed to you. Many have found that guarding their spiritual encounters has protected their faith. Keeping certain experiences between them and God has allowed them to grow deeper in their relationship with Him, without the interference of doubt or skepticism from others. This mindset is crucial because it teaches discernment. It helps you recognize that spiritual revelations are personal and often require time to fully understand. It also reminds you that some things are sacred and should not be exposed to careless opinions. Knowing this principle is one thing, but living it requires spiritual maturity. Before sharing a spiritual experience, ask yourself, is this the right time? Will sharing this edify others, or will it invite confusion? Does God want me to speak about this, or is He asking me to keep it in my heart? When people act the wrong way, dismissing your experiences, mocking your faith, or casting doubt on what God has shown you, do not feel obligated to defend yourself. Like Mary, treasure these things in your heart. Let God reveal their meaning in His time. This principle will also help you appreciate others. When someone shares a deep spiritual experience with you, listen with humility. Encourage them rather than question them. Not every experience is meant to be understood immediately, but every encounter with God has purpose. So what should you do when you receive a spiritual revelation? Write it down. Pray over it. Seek God's wisdom on when and how to share it. And if He asks you to keep it between you and Him, trust that He knows best. Mary's story had both a negative and a positive side. On the negative side, had she spoken too soon, she might have faced even more doubt and opposition. But on the positive side, by treasuring her experiences in her heart, she allowed God's plan to unfold naturally, without interference. C.S. Lewis once said, "We are not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us. We are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be." Later, when the shepherds came to worship the newborn Jesus, Mary did not rush to explain everything or seek approval from others. Instead, she treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Luke 2:19. She understood that some divine encounters are meant to be meditated upon, not immediately shared. This raises a thought-provoking question. How many spiritual moments have lost their power because they were shared too soon or with the wrong people? People naturally crave affirmation, understanding, and connection. When we experience something deeply spiritual, we often want to share it, hoping for encouragement, validation, or even guidance. But not everyone will understand. Some may question your experience, some may discredit it, and others may even discourage you from pursuing what God has revealed to you. Many have found that guarding their spiritual encounters has protected their faith. Keeping certain experiences between them and God has allowed them to grow deeper in their relationship with Him, without the interference of doubt or skepticism from others. This mindset is crucial because it teaches discernment. It helps you recognize that spiritual revelations are personal and often require time to fully understand. It also reminds you that some things are sacred and should not be exposed to careless opinions. Knowing this principle is one thing, but living it requires spiritual maturity. Before sharing a spiritual experience, ask yourself, is this the right time? Will sharing this edify others, or will it invite confusion? Does God want me to speak about this, or is He asking me to keep it in my heart? When people act the wrong way, dismissing your experiences, mocking your faith, or casting doubt on what God has shown you, do not feel obligated to defend yourself. Like Mary, treasure these things in your heart. Let God reveal their meaning in His time. This principle will also help you appreciate others. When someone shares a deep spiritual experience with you, listen with humility. Encourage them rather than question them. Not every experience is meant to be understood immediately, but every encounter with God has purpose. So what should you do when you receive a spiritual revelation? Write it down. Pray over it. Seek God's wisdom on when and how to share it. And if He asks you to keep it between you and Him, trust that He knows best. Mary's story had both a negative and a positive side. On the negative side, had she spoken too soon, she might have faced even more doubt and opposition. But on the positive side, by treasuring her experiences in her heart, she allowed God's plan to unfold naturally, without interference. C.S. Lewis once said, "We are not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us. We are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be." So, what should you do now? Walk in wisdom. Guard what God has given you. Let your faith be stronger than your need for approval. C.S. Lewis once said, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream." But remember, some dreams are meant to grow in the secret place before they are revealed to the world. Trust God's process. He knows what He is doing. God has chosen you for something great. Protect it, nurture it, let it unfold in His perfect time. If this series has blessed you, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay connected. More wisdom, more breakthroughs, and more divine revelations are ahead. Your journey is just beginning.